Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mental Health Boot Camp podcast, or what I'd like to call the Bootcast. The Boot Camp podcast? But, so this is an inaugural episode here, so we're going to get started by just introducing who the heck we are. I am Dr. Ryan Howes. I'm a psychologist in Pasadena, California, in the US of A. I'm the sole American on this podcast, and that's fine because I have three great counterparts who are wonderful people. So why don't you take it away, Chris?
I'm Chris. I'm a therapist up here in Vancouver, Canada. I don't know what else to say.
You're kind of the brains behind this deal, aren't you?
Yeah, this is a collaborative effort. So it kind of came together. 4 friends. We met at the symposium in Washington, D.C. So we thought it'd be fun to launch a program, an integrative mental health program based on all the latest research. So it's been a very organic process for sure. But it's been a fun ride.
Yes, right on. Brooke, who are you?
Hello, I am Dr. Brooke Lewis, and I am a registered clinical counselor, and I'm also up in the Vancouver area of British Columbia, Canada. And currently, I know you guys can't see us, but we're sitting out on my patio, and I have 2 dogs, and they may bark throughout this podcast. So
They're welcome. We welcome these dogs.
Joanna.
Hello. Oh.
Mute off, please.
Hello, everyone. My name's Joanna. I am also a therapist here in Vancouver. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be part of this boot camp and this inaugural bootcast.
Yes, the bootcast, of course. Well, great. Well, the Mental Health Bootcamp podcast is actually an offshoot of our main project, which is our Mental Health Bootcamp, which is a website-based program that people can do where you go in for 25 days. You get a series of little exercises and things to think about, and things to journal about and jot down and reflect upon, even some quizzes to take. And the whole idea here is that we want to give people some structure to help them work on their health and their self-care. Is that a good summary, you guys? Is that about say it?
I think you covered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. So that's available for people who are interested. But we're going to just talk. We're going to bring up a topic every time for these brief little podcasts. And here's the twist. This I think is going to be the fun part of this. The twist is the person presenting knows what the topic is. The other 3 don't. It's an ambush. Which,
dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Right. You guys have no idea. I'm presenting the first one here tonight, but you have no idea what I'm going to talk about. And you're going to have to chime in from your clinical wisdom, which I actually was thinking about this. And I think this is pretty fitting because when someone goes to therapy, the therapist doesn't have any idea what you're going to bring up that day. You just kind of have to roll with it, roll with it, respond, give your feedback. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We have all these seasoned clinicians here. We're going to have them put them on the spot a little bit and give them a chance to respond to the topic. You guys still good with this, or you want to change lanes all of a sudden here?
Nope, go for it. I think. What about you 2?
Let's do it. Let's see what you have for us.
Yeah, sounds good.
This ambush. I don't think I would ever.
Yeah.
Feel a little stressed out, a little anxious, a little sweaty. Let's do this.
Well, I don't mean to create too much stress for you guys, but I think this one, I think you guys can handle this one. Tonight, I would like to talk about self-care.
Oh,
Self-care?
I know nothing about that.
What is self-care?
In fact, even though this is an audio podcast, Brooke even brought out a little something today that was kind of apropos for self-care, right? What is the little thing you're holding in your hand?
Yeah, I'll do a little plug for it. So today I'll show, I know you guys can't see it online, but I'll show everyone else who's looking. So today I supported a Kickstarter through the Awkward Yeti. I really appreciate the Awkward Yeti. He does a comic book series and has plushies and all these different things. So I got a new game. It's called Panic Attacks, When Panic Attacks. So it's an anxiety game, and it has like anxiety triggers and like self-care things that you can do to help your anxiety. And as part of like the promotion on the Kickstarter, I got a little stress squeezy, and I'm not sure what it's supposed to be.
Like maybe an amygdala, potentially. I'm not
Can
sure
you
what that
guys?
is. Or a gallstone.
Yeah,
It looks like an egg.
like what?
It looks like a very scared egg.
Yes, an egg about to crack.
Yeah, so for those listeners, it's about 3 times the size of an egg, but egg shaped somewhat, flat on the bottom, gray, and then it has bulging eyes, a downturned mouth, and limbs that look like they're kind of squished up and kind of like hugging the self, but it definitely looks like a stressed out big egg.
I like it.
Need some self-care, the little guy.
He does.
Does need some self-care. So I'm just going to throw out 3 little areas of self-care that we believe are kind of the foundation of self-care. And you guys are welcome to chime in. Of course, there are many other ways to practice self-care, but these are kind of the basics, the 3 wheels of the self-care triangle, we might say. So the first of them would be the 3 wheels of the tricycle, is what I meant to say, not the triangle. 3 wheels of the tricycle. All right. I'll forgive myself for that and practice some self-care, right? Little first episode stumbles, all right? So first, we're going to talk nutrition. Nutrition is so important for us. You are what you eat. And it makes a huge impact on our body and our wellness. There's been growing research out there lately that gut bacteria is actually a very important part of serotonin development, and how we, what we eat and how we treat our food makes a big difference regarding our mood, and how we move through the day. So that's just
I think pause 1 second, Ryan. The airplane over there near Chris and Brooke is very, very, very loud.
It's so far away.
I could not hear Ryan when that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a little seaplane over there.
It's coming your way, Joanna. It's heading in your direction.
So nutrition is what you're saying. Just John here.
Absolutely. Yes.
And
Yes. Gut flora. That's right. Nutrition makes a big difference just in terms of the body chemistry, but nutrients and minerals and vitamins and things like omega-3, fish oils, things like that really have been shown to improve mood and help people feel more balanced, less sluggish, kind of more sharp mentally. Do you guys have any experience with this?
well,
Christopher?
yeah, I learned a bit about this, how, people want to release various neurotransmitters within their brain, like serotonin and oxytocin and endorphins. That actually comes from amino acids from food. So if you're not eating a proper diet, then your body can't produce the neurochemicals necessary to actually make you feel better, right?
Yeah.
So often, if your diet is crap, then you're likely going to feel like crap as a result. So, you guys did similar things, or?
So,
You took the words out of my mouth, Chris.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I wasn't going to go into amino acids, but I agree that nutrition is extremely important in self-care, because we do want to fuel our body well, and we want to fuel it with good things that are nutrition dense. But we also want to be aware of things and mindful of things that our body does not like. So I know of the 4 of us, 2 of us have some dietary restrictions, and if we were to eat things that didn't sit well, that would then impact our energy levels, irritability, potentially headaches, focus and concentration, which then impact your social circle, whether or not you're able to connect, your quality of life. There's all these other things. So I think nutrition plays a big role, not just to, like, we want to be eating a healthy diet, but we also want to be paying attention to what doesn't make us feel well. And we do that through mindfulness, as well as testing, if you need to go that far, to make sure that you are eating things that make you feel energized and clear and good.
Yeah. Well, what if I just feel, if I'm feeling sluggish, what if I just load up on caffeine, and then at night, if I have a hard time like quieting down my brain, I just drown it in a bunch of alcohol? How's that work? Is that okay?
Right, that would be kind of crummy. That would probably not be very good, because then you're going to be dehydrated and your whole system's going to be off, right? You've been bungee jumping all day, but yeah.
I like that. Bungee jumping, that's good.
Yeah, it'll impact your sleep and a whole bunch of other things there. But I just want to hear what Joanna has to say about this.
Me too.
What I think about is if people are depending on caffeine to, have energy throughout the day, it's, ideally it's good to kind of look at their nutrition overall. Like if they're depending on that for energy or needing alcohol to kind of get to sleep, then I think that means they may be lacking, creating really a nourishing diet for themselves. So it's more of maybe a little bit of a reminder for themselves to be eating well, or to take a peek at what they're eating, or even a lack of eating. I feel like when I get busy, I tend to not eat as much because I don't, or I'm eating out more, and that really affects me. I notice it a lot in my energy as well as just my overall wellness. So,
and on that note, about like what you're eating or noticing these things, just a quick mention of how it can go too far. So if you're thinking about eating well and healthy, on the other end of the spectrum, we have orthorexia, right, which is the preoccupation with eating healthy foods, along with a sense of purity. So like a fear of eating what would be deemed processed or certain food groups, such as dairy or fats or different grains, because they're not pure, and what that would do for you. And so it can go too far. So we do want a healthy balance where you can close up for the night and eat some cookie dough if you want, or if you want to have a glass of wine on a Thursday, that's not so bad.
We do those things. Yeah, it's interesting though, the whole idea of inflammation, right? So some sugars like inflame the body.
Nightshade vegetables.
Yeah, it causes havoc on your body physically, but also mentally too. So yeah, it's a strong connection there with anxiety and our mood overall, right?
Boy, you guys know a lot about this stuff. I ambushed you with the right question. This is good.
Yeah.
Also, I want to make just a quick little Canadian to American translation. We're both speaking English, but I just need to just point out one little thing. A minute ago, Brooke said the word process, and I just want the Americans listening to know that word in American English is actually process. Okay, so your process, it's actually process for the Americans out there. Okay.
Well, it's nice to have an American translator on this podcast. It's very helpful.
I'm sure you'll be used more often than that. Can't wait to say, like, what else are we going to say? Good.
Just have to point these things out. We Americans are a little slow on the uptake sometimes, so we got to, point these things out. Okay, we got two more areas that I want to cover of self-care. The second being physical activity.
Ooh.
Physical activity, yes. Anything that moves your body. Dancing, frolicking, skipping, walking, all sorts of things that you can do just to move around a little bit. People kind of think of this as being sort of a no-brainer, but really, I mean, the research is really strong that supports the idea that 30 minutes of exercise 3 times a week is equivalent to taking a low dose of an antidepressant for people. Strong exercise does wonders for the body, not just in your self-esteem, like, yay, I tackled that, but the increased blood flow and just the body movement has been shown to really benefit people in pretty remarkable ways. And for some folks, if they're feeling sluggish and down, just getting on a good exercise protocol is really all they need to boost themselves back up. You guys wouldn't know anything about the mind-body connection when it comes to exercise, would you?
Well, Ryan, did you know my dissertation was on physical activity for emotional regulation? Did you?
I don't think I did, or maybe I forgot. Well,
Surprise! Or physical activity for the treatment of non-suicidal self-injury. So what you're saying is true based off of many, many, many research articles. So some of the articles suggest that it's actually only needed like 20 minutes a day of moderate physical activity, like 15 to 20 minutes even. And moderate physical activity would be at a level where if you were walking uphill with a friend, you would be winded, but you would be able to get the sentence out, but you would do so in a labored way. So you're still able to talk, but it's you're taking moments for breath, and that would be considered moderate physical activity.
yeah.
And then after those 15 or 20 minutes per day, your benefits are actually being capped out physically and for mental health. So as long as, yeah, and as long as the person is doing an activity that they enjoy, it doesn't seem to matter what it is. So they've done studies. I looked at studies for boxing versus aerobics versus walking versus weight training, swimming, dancing, and it didn't matter. It just mattered that the person enjoyed it.
Prancing? Yeah,
There was no prancing.
Frolicking?
Do a study about prancing.
for sure.
Yeah.
You know, Joanna is actually my sister, my second favorite sister. And she got me hooked on this local boot camp. That's 35 minutes a day, I think total, but that involves stretching and a cool down. I actually went today, and I think I got that workout high, that release of endorphins, and I felt fantastic. But hey, Joanna goes 3 times a day. I go a few times a week, but
Oh, wow.
Not quite, but once a day. But yeah,
Wow,
it's built in. It took me a little while to really build physical activity into my daily routine. It'd be something I'd like to do on the weekends, or try to get out and hike, or just get outside in some way. But I think everyone finds something that works for them, and for me, it was a really good community, and it just was the right time, right place. So.
yeah. Brings up an interesting point, though. We were talking about this earlier, actually, is we're kind of built to move a bit, right?
Yeah.
We're not built to sit.
No.
So I was talking about how when I talk on the phone, I like to pace and walk around.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, even therapeutically, some of the research being done right now is when you walk and talk, it actually can enhance that communication and connection with someone, right?
Yes.
So the brain operates at an optimal level when we're actually moving versus sitting.
I'll tell you, during this time of the lockdown here in the States, and I don't know if you guys are still locked down or not, but I have a few clients that we go on walks together, meeting, and not together. We're on the phone. I'm walking around my neighborhood. They're walking around their neighborhood.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's a great way. I actually like those the best. I mean, it's been pretty warm down here, so it's great at early in the morning, my first appointment. If they want to talk on the phone and go for a walk, I'll do the same. And it's really, really nice.
Oh, that's great.
That's
I had
awesome.
actually done walk and talks with clients before, but it was in the community. So there was consent given, confidentiality, but we would pick somewhere that's slow, not really populated, and go for a walk and talk for a session. But there's additional benefits to that. You're probably not getting your heart rate to a moderate level by doing that. You are moving your body, but you are connecting with nature. You're outside getting fresh air, looking at nature, maybe stopping to smell the flowers along the way, different things like that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Some vitamin D.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what did everyone do for physical activity today?
Well, I actually started my day with one of those walking therapy sessions, and then I have my boys doing a variety of physical things during the day. So I joined them for that. We actually played Floor is Lava during some of the day.
Oh, nice one.
Nice. That's a classic.
Yes, little climbing around the living room. It was pretty good.
That's great.
Nice. I went to the boot camp this morning, Brooke.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joanna and I did some skull crushers and skaters and
High knees and
keys and what else did we
bicep curls.
do? Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I'm lacking in it. I
Some
went for a
TRX, yeah.
leisurely walk around the block. It took 10 minutes.
But that is better. Like that's something. It's movement, right? And it doesn't need to be a lot of movement. I feel like a lot of people get overwhelmed if they don't have any routine, but it really just takes 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there.
Beautifully done. Okay, bringing us to our last topic, which is sleep.
Uh,
Don't we
man.
like sleep? Yes, sleep is great. Experts recommend that adults get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep per night. And it's important. This is when we both rest physically, but we also rest mentally. Our brain is actually pretty active when we're sleeping. The belief is that we're consolidating memory and kind of getting rid of unnecessary stuff that we don't need to remember, and kind of making sense of things. You know, a lot of people will go to bed with a question in their mind and wake up with an answer. And so sleep is crucial. You know, the lack of, I mean, we know this because the lack of sleep is incredibly detrimental to someone's mental health and physical health. And sometimes just when people can get a few good nights sleep in a row, it makes all the difference in the world for their mental health. So, plus we get to dream. And sometimes dreams are pretty nice. Sometimes dreams are not so nice. The nightmares are not fun. So, but anyway, just to bring up this topic of sleep, wondering if you guys have any thoughts on the importance of that.
You know, it's funny. Sleep is an ongoing issue with a lot of the clients I meet. I'm sure it's the same for all of you.
Yeah.
And the tedious thing about sleep is if you try really hard to fall asleep, what's going to happen? You're not going to
You
fall
don't
asleep.
fall asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really straightforward. You know, you have some quinoa and some omega-3 fish oil and stay away from some cake, and it's probably going to have a beneficial impact on your health. But sleep is a little trickier than that, isn't it? So often we explore various techniques that can maybe help someone focus their mind in a way that will increase the chances of them falling asleep.
I like it. Yeah, sleep hygiene. I mean, there's certainly been a lot talked about regarding sleep hygiene. Things like, you know, use your bedroom for sleeping, sleeping only.
Yeah, stop technology like an hour before going to
Yeah.
bed.
No heavy meals or really any food or like fatty foods or exercise
Yeah.
2 to 3 hours before bed.
So no skull crushers before
No
bed.
skull crushers.
Not before bed, right?
Yeah.
There's lots of
Yeah,
things.
with
And getting out of
alcohol,
bed if you wake up, right? Like if you wake up in the middle of the night or you can't fall asleep, can't fall back to sleep within 20 minutes, you want to get out of bed and you want to go do something calming and relaxing until your head nodding and then go back.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
But booze as well can impact
Oh.
your ability to get quality sleep.
Man,
So I'm referencing this conference a lot today, but the symposium, there's a presenter and you're saying that even one beer, one glass of wine can impact your quality of sleep. I've never seen so many therapists irate in my life. He's like, what about this research and one glass of red wine can improve your heart rate? And the guy's like, whoa, 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 don't kill a messenger here. But even one beverage of some kind can impact your ability to get stage 4 or stage 5 sleep, right? So you wake up more exhausted as a
Wow.
result. But I'm actually kind of curious, so in terms of sleep hygiene, are there any other techniques that you recommend for those to calm their mind and fall asleep?
other than what are the ones that you already?
We talked about like stopping drinking heavy meals, like more routine before bed.
Yeah, keeping your bedroom just for sleep, that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
But I meant more like often when things are quiet, that's where people's minds kind of take off a bit, right? And they start to fixate and focus on things.
I think, yeah, there are a lot of individual differences. So go ahead, Brooke.
So I was just asking, clarifying if he meant while you're in bed trying to fall asleep. In
Oh,
which
okay.
case that would be the time. So when we say your bedroom is only for sleeping, that includes worrying. Like, so if you're going into bed and that's a time when your mind's active because you're worrying, then you need to be getting up and getting out of bed and doing something. So expression and containment, do something to express those feelings and then do something to contain them to go back to sleep. But if that's happening regularly, then part of your post-dinner routine is going to be journaling or having a worry time to get rid of those anxious thoughts so that your brain isn't saving worry time for when you're in bed. You actually have worry time at 7 p.m. So those
That's
thoughts
good.
are already cleared out before you're even in your bedroom, because it's associating worry and bed, which is not good.
Not good.
I'm curious what you would say, because I have my thought on this, but of the three, nutrition, physical activity, and sleep, what would you rate as the most important when it comes to self-care?
Oh, this is a tough one.
I think it was ambushed our
Ambush.
Ambush of an ambush.
Isn't it like a three-legged stool? If you like, you're gonna chop all the, like, you're just gonna fall over. Like, don't they have to, like, do you think one's more important than the other?
Well, look, I think, well, geez, this is a tough one, but I'm thinking of like, it's just in terms of necessity, right? If you don't sleep for a week, you could die. You have cardiac arrest and just die. If you don't eat for a week, you will probably survive, but you'll be really hungry and starving and malnourished. If you don't exercise for a week, you're American.
Okay.
Right.
But isn't there, how long is it that if you don't eat, like genuinely don't eat at all, starvation death, how long does that, is that 1 week or 2 weeks? Because it was like
over
water.
2 weeks, isn't it?
No, people have done, as long as they're drinking, people have done starvation for up to a month, I believe. People go on hunger strikes for long periods of time.
True, yeah.
It's the dehydration. If they don't have any liquid, then they're going to die quicker, right?
Yeah. So sleep, because if you're not sleeping, you're gonna go cray cray.
Yeah.
Or you're going to use other methods to get your energy up, right? You're going to depend more on the caffeine. You're going to, like,
Literally.
it seems, I agree they all intermingle, but I've heard a lot of just sleep. And that's when our, I don't know. Yeah.
That's
Our
also
brain
like
recharges.
sleep deprivation, right? Like it's a torture technique, because after it's like 3 days of no sleep and you start hallucinating and
Yeah.
having really, really severe mental health distortions and a lot of paranoia and hallucinations, and you just shut down, because when you're sleeping, glial cells go around. They're like the garbage collectors in your brain, and they go around and they clean up the stuff and put stuff away. So without that, you're like, you're just not going to function.
All right, we'll wrap this up here, but I'll add one little piece to this, which is, I think the way I was framing it was like, okay, which one would be the most harmful if you didn't have it, right? But we could also look at this in terms of what would be the most beneficial if you did make a positive change there, right?
Oh, I see.
And so I would actually say, for me, I would say that diet would be the most. If you needed to change one of those for the better, I think changing your diet would make the biggest impact.
I would go with sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
People are sleeping.
Pardon?
Under the assumption that people are sleeping.
Like improving their sleep?
I think it's just getting the good quality and the length of sleep which you're sleeping. I think that just has such an impact on our daily functioning. And even how our digestion works, and like I don't know. I think it's a big one. I don't disagree with the diet. I think that's very important. I think sleep has a lot of,
No, I think I'm with you, Joe. I think sleep as well. I think when people have awful sleep hygiene, it can have a pretty major impact on their well-being. Brooke, what do you think?
I'm going with Ryan.
Ooh, divided.
Because I think if you improved your nutrition, you would improve your sleep. But if you improved your sleep, you wouldn't necessarily improve your nutrition.
Yeah.
Like you sleep well, but still eat a bunch of junk. But if you eat better, you would probably sleep better. And
I don't know.
At stages of sleep, so restorative sleep happens in deep sleep, and deep sleep decreases as we age. So as we get to be senior citizens, we might still be sleeping 10 hours, but we're not getting the same amount of restorative sleep. So I think like you could still, like if you're going to miss one sleep cycle a night, but you're eating well, I think that would be better than getting the extra sleep cycle and eating garbage.
That was actually pretty convincing. I'm on your team now.
The only one thing I would think is that is not, I don't think it's cause and effect or not. I know you're not saying that. I think if you're like, if you eat better, that means you're going to sleep better. I think there's so many factors why a lot of people don't, if they're busying their schedules too much or they're prioritizing other things over their sleep. That's where I would think there could be change not only in just the nutrition. I for sure think what you eat can definitely impact your sleep. I support that.
For like
sure.
amount of time sleeping, I think that if you improve your eating and reduce alcohol and caffeine, then your quality of sleep is going to be better, in which case it's going to be more restorative.
Yeah.
Yeah, so both can be extremely
Oh,
detrimental
100%.
to our well-being. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But, just sleep again, like often do some monotonous, right? So trying to focus your mind in a very boring task, counting up, counting down, counting by 3 for those that can do that. But also I remind people that if people have a hard time falling asleep, they often get frustrated at the fact of not falling asleep. They start to do the math in their heads. I'm only going to get 4 or 5 hours of sleep now, and that creates more stress, and they stay awake. So I'm just trying to normalize it a bit and say you're not gonna perish. Let the body figure that out. Just embrace it. Even like a paradoxical approach could help. Try your hardest not to fall asleep, for instance, or embrace the fact you're awake a bit, and usually that will make you a little more tired.
I like that. Right. If you spend your time beating yourself up for not sleeping, it's not gonna help any of the matters, is it? Well, you guys, this has been a brilliant talk. I want to end on a note here, and we're calling this a zeitgeist, which is just sort of a thought or a saying or a quote or something that sort of captures, I think, where we are today. And this is the one that I chose for tonight. It's a quote from someone by the name of Walter Elliott, and it goes like this: "Perseverance is not a long race. It is many races, one after another." And I think the way that I've been looking at this quarantine and the pandemic has often been like, oh my gosh, how long is this going to be? How long is it going to last? And where is this going? Where are we headed? But it's really, it's many little races. It's waking up each day and facing the challenge and, doing battle with the day, making peace with the day, and then restarting again tomorrow. I don't know. You guys any
I
thought on
like that.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely captures the spirit of the times.
Well, that's the idea of a zeitgeist, isn't it? Well,
I love the zeitgeist.
And I like it too because if we consider it, it's a mental shift. Because if you consider it one big race, you're like, when is this going to end? Versus if it's many races, you're like, you know what? There was something like, okay, we got through this. We got through this a little bit. I know it's not over, but at least there's this part. There's something. There's hopeful there. Or I got to do this. Or you just maybe focus more on the little victories or successes or positives. And then you're like, you know what? There's going to be another race tomorrow, but hey, we got through this one. Man.
Yeah, it shifts the mindset and the metrics as well, right?
that's great. Well, there's our show for the day. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. Did you guys have fun?
It was okay, I guess. I don't know.
Were you
I had a
gonna do
great
it
time.
too?
All right. Well, our race is done for the day, and we will put this bootcast to rest and see you guys again next time. All right.
No, Ryan, are you going to play the guitar? A little jingle or something like that?
Oh, bananas! We need
Yeah,
to get
I
our.
see it behind him.
The guitar
Yeah.
behind it? I think.
Well, you just wait. There'll be. I'll start playing here in a second. So see you guys later on. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.